Whew. You know, after that last review, I just want a nice, simple, and easy to make fun of movie that's not gonna put me in any hot water.
We have to get a new toilet if I got broke!
God damn it! You know, there comes a time in everyone's life where they run into a movie or piece of art that's so confusing, so compounding, and so mesmerizingly bad that you almost want to take a deep dive into it. Maybe for you, when it was confusing, it was a David Lynch film. Or perhaps something so mesmerizing that it might have been a YouTube video of a demon doll slapping her face into some soup. For me, however, it was riding the bus with my sister. Now, I'm no fan of Rosie O'Donnell. In fact, I doubt there's many, if any, people out there who will proudly proclaim such a thing. As an actress, she's just okay, but as a person, she seems really unapproachable and miserable. However, today's movie review isn't getting into her personal life or even her relationship with fans. Today we'll be focusing solely on her acting merit. Now, many of you are probably unfamiliar with Rosie and her extensive acting career, so let me give you a quick rundown. She played the monkey friend from Tarzan.
I feel something happening here!
And was Betty Rubble in the Flintstone movie.
Oh, I can't, Wilma.
Where is this Queen's Oscar, you fucks? So with that out of the way, I'm sure we're in for some intense acting, as she portrays a woman diagnosed with Down syndrome and a heart of gold.
Can we have assistants, please, and road number 1 for toilet seats?
Oh, dear God, why? So yeah, if you haven't guessed from that one little clip of the movie, this isn't one of the few films on the film registry. But it'd be funny if it was. The movie opens with Rosie O'Donnell getting out of bed and acting how I assume she normally acts when the cameras aren't turned on. Okay, Comic Sans, the most professional font to ever exist. We also see that Rosie O'Donnell has a very tight bond with her father, who calls her once this whole movie, and then hopefully doesn't die toward the middle.
Yes, Daddy.
Hi, honey, you okay?
Yes, I'm okay, because I'm the sheriff. Yeah.
He's gonna die toward the middle. The juxtaposition is the character that we will call Normal Sister. Normal Sister is dating Actor Man, who is British.
How about checking the editor's notes on my last chapter?
They're going through some marital stuff because Normal Sister is too obsessed with her job to give Actor Man the time of day.
I can't, honey. I've got to shoot.
You said you would.
Baby, I'm late.
This is very progressive, as usually the man is the one who neglects the wife. Thank you, Hallmark. Yeah, I guess I should get this out of the way. This is technically a TV movie made by Hallmark, so expect some stuff that's a Hallmark staple to show up. So, we see that Rosie O'Donnell, and yeah, I know she has a character name. I know they all have character names, but let's be honest. None of us are gonna memorize it, so we're just gonna call them by their archetypes. Anyway, Rosie O'Donnell just gets on the bus and starts riding it every single day for some interaction with other people. We see her kind of stimming and recognizing places and getting excited when coming across those places.
Oh, that's boring clothes. What, am I scaring you? Want me to scare you? Boo, boo, boo! That's Olivia. She's pretty and she's nice. Oh, that's a house where me and Eugene live.
Which, in the movie's defense, a lot of people with mental disabilities tend to do that. My own uncle with Down syndrome would do the exact same thing and recognize shows on TV and have mannerisms that were exclusively his own. So, you know, they got that kinda right, meaning they did some research, but who approved Rosie's Down syndrome voice?
I'm gonna go to Elma, and then I'm gonna catch a bus with Rick.
I mean, it literally just sounds like...
Well, I can't give away what my real name is.
No, what's your real name?
No, I can't give it away.
So does this mean Pee Wee Herman has Down syndrome too? But I digress. We see that in this universe, apparently everyone just fucking hates this one person with Down syndrome.
I buy my bus pass for $40 and I'm first always, so that's why I'm first.
Yeah, you're doing it on the government dole. Why don't you do something useful in your life?
Really? Seriously, every single character in this movie going forward is going to act like the biggest piece of shit to this woman who clearly has a mental disability. The only people who seem to be nice in this universe are the fucking bus drivers. Even then, there's this one fat driver who never shows up again, who acts like a dick to her.
This is for bus drivers only.
Jerry and Mr. Pack have been letting me in.
Yeah, well, the bosses aren't here today, are they?
Okay, Eugene.
Hey, you encourage some obnoxious behavior.
Enough.
It's for drivers.
This opening montage, where it's the juxtaposition between Normal Sister and Rosie O'Donnell's character, also gives us our first instance of the hard R being dropped.
Bear no mind, it's just a harmless read.
We see that Normal Sister does some kind of photography. I'm not sure what kind. It looks like a bunch of weird pictures of brides in graveyards, but I guess it makes her famous and busy. A whole lot of nothing really happens in this movie. It's just kind of set pieces so that somebody can call Rosie O'Donnell the hard R, Rosie reacting to it, and then never touching on it again. The movie just kind of calls her a moves on. Kind of like real life. Anyway, some really boring shit happens and then, oh no! Dad had a heart attack!
Yeah, I'm afraid your father's had a heart attack.
No.
We find out from who we assume is one of Rosie O'Donnell's handlers that he is currently in the hospital.
Beth's dad is in the hospital.
The scenes for this are actually unintentionally funny. First she finds out that her father had a heart attack and starts freaking out. Pretty normal reaction.
Yeah, I'm afraid your father's had a heart attack.
No. I'm gonna go get tricked. What?
Beth, he's had surgery. I think you might...
And people are trying to calm her down. The handler is trying to get her to not use the bus to go to the hospital, but Rosie is refusing to get off. And even Hunky Bus Driver, who may or may not become a love interest later for Normal Sister, tells the mentally disabled woman that there's nothing she can do about her dad being in the hospital for a heart attack.
Where is he?
St. Matthews.
Beth, listen to me.
No.
Your dad's in the hospital.
Yeah. I have to go to the hospital!
Eventually, he tells everybody riding the bus that they're gonna take a detour to get Rosie O'Donnell to the hospital.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got kind of an emergency here. We're gonna take a short detour if you don't mind. Mr. Worth, it might make you a little late for your doctor's appointment.
As if all of that wasn't bad enough, as soon as we get there and Rosie is approaching the door where her dad is in the hospital, her stepmom pops out and says that he's in a coma.
Where's my daddy?
He's in a coma.
Again, it's supposed to be very sad, especially the part where Rosie is trying to wake her dad up, but the timing, the pacing, the editing, and the acting, it just feels like a Spanish soap opera. Seriously, if you blink, you will miss so many things that happen in the course of 2 seconds. The tone of this movie is all over the place, and it's still trying to be dramatic at the same time. It just doesn't work. Now, personally, what I feel puts the cherry on the shit ice cream sundae is the next scene after we just had a dramatic breakdown. It's literally Rosie O'Donnell crying and eating cookies on a park bench while swinging her legs. The next scene we see is the funeral. Normal Sister has come down from New York with Normal Brother, who is from somewhere, to attend the father's funeral. Here we learn 2 important things. 1, Normal Sister hates Rosie O'Donnell about as much as every other asshole on the bus does.
I'm trapped. Beth is just a dead weight. I'm trapped.
Then again, most people react the same way to Rosie O'Donnell to begin with. And finally, 2, they're Jewish? Yeah, somehow Normal Sister is from New York with a southern accent and also Jewish. What a weird combination.
I'm already behind schedule. I have a shoot in Mexico.
During a private moment after the funeral service with Rosie O'Donnell's family, Rosie O'Donnell's handler asks them if somebody would mind staying behind to come to a hearing so that they can facilitate Rosie O'Donnell into a life where her father is no longer taking care of her, or at least until the government decides to do something about it.
Sad time for all of you. But we have a problem with Beth. Can one of you be here next week for her plan of care meeting?
Normal Brother, basically realizing what movie he's in, decides to take the easy way out and uses his family as an excuse to not stay.
Why'd you have to go, Bob? Why'd you have to go?
Well, I have to get back to Janice and the kids tonight.
Forgot to mention, too, that her staying behind to take care of Rosie O'Donnell kind of makes Actor Man a little bit angry when she goes back to New York to pack up for the weekend. She's gonna be staying with Rosie. It's valid, though. She didn't even invite her fiancé to her father's fucking funeral. Then she talks mad shit about her Down syndrome sister.
I wanted to be at the funeral. You didn't include me.
Believe me, I did you a favor. My family is...
That's just the point. Your family. I didn't even know you had a sister.
I was trying to spare you.
Spare me from what?
She's...
That's good for the relationship. Actor Man literally tells her that she treats him no different than she would a person with Down syndrome and breaks up with her.
Why? Because I just realized you treat us all the same.
I'd also like to mention that this is the second and third time somebody drops the hard R in this movie. It's said by both Normal Sister and Actor Man. The first time it was by some random dick on the bus.
She's...
Didn't even know they use that term anymore.
Pay her no mind. It's just a harmless read.
Originally for this review, I was gonna put an R counter at the bottom of the screen, but I'm really surprised how subdued this movie is. It only used the R slur like 3 times. We find out through some flashbacks that are filmed like scenes from a PBS original drama that Rosie O'Donnell and Normal Sister's dad ditched them for some younger pussy, and that caused the family to fall apart. I'm gonna summarize these flashback sequences right now, because they're so far apart from each other, but it does give some context as to what's happening in the film. Very mild context, though. Anyway, essentially the dad ditches the mom with the 3 kids to start banging someone younger, and as time goes on, the mom gets more and more desperate and more negligent toward the children, including Rosie O'Donnell.
I want to meet someone. I'm sorry, I have to go out every once in a while. You be good tonight. I won't be back late.
I wish I had a water balloon. I would drop it on him.
This eventually leads Mom to completely abandoning them for some biker cock.
This is Raymond. Raymond will be living with us now.
Later on, the dad comes back and takes Normal Brother and Normal Sister, but leaves Rosie behind in order to get custody of her.
Honey, Beth. Listen, you're gonna stay with your mom, just for now, okay? Give me a hug.
Eventually, that does happen, and we find out through the flashbacks that Rosie O'Donnell's character actually had sex. So the dad and sister decide to get her tubes tied.
The thing is, you could get pregnant if you're not careful. Babies are not dolls. They're not puppies or kittens.
Babies get sick. They need constant attention.
They make them without hooks. I changed my mind. I changed my mind.
In a few minutes, you'll go to sleep. When you wake up, it's gonna be all done.
I changed my mind. I changed my mind.
Man, I can't believe Rosie O'Donnell's character got laid before me. So yeah, this whole subplot barely comes into play. I mean, her mentioning that she wants to be a mom only happens like twice, and then they completely drop it.
10 years since I can't have a baby.
It almost just serves no purpose to have these flashbacks outside of the traumatic childhood stuff. I'll be honest though, the funniest part about these flashback sequences is the fact that they use the exact same guy who plays young dad to be old dad. So when you see the future scenes and Normal Sister is sitting next to him, it just looks like a 40-year-old actress sitting next to a 30-year-old man who's wearing a shitty gray wig. Anyway, the next couple of scenes are Normal Sister and Rosie O'Donnell getting acquainted with each other. Normal Sister resenting Rosie O'Donnell for doing things that Rosie O'Donnell cannot control.
You eat all this junk, you're getting fat.
So?
I'm worried about you, your health. We're gonna get you some brown rice and vegetables, and I'm gonna teach you how to cook it.
I won't cook it.
Of course you will.
I won't.
They go to the store together. They even meet the local creepy white guy who's trying to gump it with Rosie O'Donnell.
Are you familiar with the term gumping it? So gumping it is when someone is not quite but they're like just on that line. So while it's an ethical conundrum, it's not fucking a person if you were to sleep with them.
When it comes to Hallmark movies, they like to paint a sort of archetype of evil white guys. So that's probably why this guy shows up in the movie and then never shows up again. You know, it's like one of those things that happens due to evolution. You know, it's just natural. If Hallmark doesn't have a creepy white guy who's trying to rape or have sex with a mentally disabled woman, then it's just not a Hallmark movie, and the whole thing, the whole organism of Hallmark just crumbles and dies instead of evolving. Unfortunately, the weekend that Normal Sister spends with Rosie is up. In their next case management hearing, Normal Sister basically gets roped into taking care of Rosie O'Donnell for 3 months as a trial period to see if she's a good caretaker or if they're just going to send Rosie to a home.
The bus is a family for Beth.
Beth has a family.
Good. Then you're willing to come and stay with Beth, help her get on her feet. We'll see how it goes. Let's try 3 months.
I have a career. I have a very demanding schedule. I have commitments.
Beth was very dependent on your father. If you can't come and help her make this transition, I'm not sure she'll be able to take care of herself.
You don't mean you would send her back to a group home?
Obviously frustrated at the fact that she was basically forced to take care of her Rosie O'Donnell, Normal Sister endures, but eventually she grows fond of her Rosie.
There are some health issues. Your cholesterol is still very high.
Oh. It's the ring dings, the chocolate pudding, and the junk.
What about your budget? You still wasting all this money on junk food?
Yes. Beth is an adult. If she doesn't want to be cautious about her meds, her weight, or her money, we can only hope that her love of life will push her into taking better care of herself.
Now, throughout the whole movie, Rosie O'Donnell's sister has been taking photographs of Rosie O'Donnell and her friends, including the bus passengers. This is a juxtaposition to the weird bridal graveyard photos that she's been taking. Later on, there's a scene where Normal Sister and her assistant are looking over the bridal graveyard photos. Normal Sister is being quiet and introspective when the assistant notices the card Rosie made for Normal Sister. This gets her to finally say what she's feeling.
You're not gonna read them?
I told her I hated her. Now I just hate myself.
I actually really like that scene. It adds slight humility to this horrible fucking character that calls her sister the hard R.
She's
realizing the mistake thanks to the photos that she took, Normal Sister returns to Rosie O'Donnell and reluctantly decides to start taking care of her, even though she really fucking hates Rosie O'Donnell. Honestly, it's hard to tell where the hate for Rosie O'Donnell begins and the hate for the character she's playing ends. A lot of times, these people acting mad at Rosie O'Donnell's character seems like they're just mad at Rosie O'Donnell. Eventually, Rosie O'Donnell tries to hook Normal Sister up with Hunky Bus Driver Man since she found out that Actor Man broke up with Normal Sister. This leads to Normal Sister finding out more about Rosie O'Donnell's personal life, and the fact that she has a boyfriend who is an introverted, mentally disabled black dude that knows jujitsu. Honestly, he's like the best character because half the time he doesn't even look like he's acting. He just kind of looks like he's embarrassed and wondering why he's even in the movie. He does get a pretty cool scene where he beats the shit out of some guys who are trying to mug him. And we also find out that this is the same dude that almost knocked Rosie O'Donnell up, causing her dad and sister to get her tubes tied. Yeah. The last half of this movie is really nothing to write home about. Nothing really happens outside of the plot being Normal Sister gets used to her Rosie O'Donnell. It turns out Hunky Bus Driver Man isn't actually interested in Normal Sister, so they just end up becoming friends, and she actually hooks back up with Actor Man at the end of the movie.
Sam. Oh, I'm so glad you came.
He does this because she uses the photos that she's been taking of Rosie O'Donnell and her friends as part of Normal Sister's art exhibit. And this somehow redeems her shitty behavior in the eyes of Actor Man. You know, I guess Normal Sister really did find out the true meaning of family. Or Christmas. Or whatever it was. Yay! So that was Riding the Bus with My Sister. It is one of the most corny Hallmark movies I've ever seen, and I've seen some bad ones. I saw the Bruce Campbell one. Normally Hallmark movies are bad, but Riding the Bus with My Sister feels even worse because the characters don't feel like characters. They don't even feel like real people. They come across as like archetypes or even like little toys that you get to play with. It feels like tools for the script in order to pull at people's heartstrings in order to win an Emmy for Best TV Movie. None of it feels genuine. At its best, this feels like a great value version of the movie Rain Man.
That's it. Oh boy. That's it. You blew it. You don't get to see the program. I buy my bus pass for $40 and I'm first always, so that's why I'm first.
At its worst, it's just Rosie O'Donnell making fun of people with Down syndrome.
Yes, I'm okay because I'm the sheriff. Yeah.
There isn't much redeeming in this movie outside of how goofy a lot of the scenes flow and how the editing makes the movie feel almost like a comedy movie. Not to mention, on top of the editing and the pacing and the acting, the music even sounds like a melodrama. It's too goofy to actually take seriously.
He's in a coma.
It's also just a bad representation of people with disabilities. In them trying so hard to make Rosie O'Donnell's character something to sympathize with, they neglect to give her much of a personality that an audience can find charming or likable. It also brings a negative impression on people with disabilities. She was so focused on trying to outdo Dustin Hoffman's performance in Rain Man that Rosie O'Donnell created an offensive caricature of somebody with Down syndrome. This is a 1-star movie. Only worth watching if you really like shitty B-movies and want a good chuckle at seeing a production try so hard for an Emmy, but fail so hard at it, being caught up in their own bullshit. You know, I'll never understand why companies try so hard to win these awards, instead of just trying really hard to make a good movie. You could easily do a film like this and have it be taken seriously if you actually put the time and effort into meeting people with the disability you're writing about, and seeing how they actually function, how they talk, and how they move. That's why Rain Man is such a good example of this, because Dustin Hoffman actually spent time with the real subject of that movie's story. He got down the mannerisms, he got down how he walked, how he talked, how he reacted to things, and he used that in his performance to create a very authentic, true-to-life character of a man who has severe autism dealing with life. With this Rosie O'Donnell crap, it just kind of feels like they're insulting them. Anyway, that's my review of Riding the Bus with My Sister. Tune in next time when I review Vertigo, an actual good movie.
Pair no mind, it's just a harmless retard.